Good morning and welcome back to the channel. We have a little bit of a predicament today. We've got tornadoes, damaging wind, and hail headed our way, so let's see what happens today. Here comes the wind. For most of us, the camping season starts in the spring. Spring usually brings bad storms. Almost anywhere you live, spring will bring bad storms. And here in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Texas, even on up a little higher, they have tornadoes. It's just part of it, and a lot of the tornadoes will move towards Alabama, Georgia, and so on, and Tennessee. So you eventually will get caught by some severe weather. And some of the things that you can do to help yourself out, if you especially have full hookups, are so easy to do. So in our rig, we have 2 gray tanks and 2 black tanks and 1 fresh tank. So the gray tanks equal 105 gallons, the black tanks both equal 105 gallons, and our fresh tank is 91 gallons. So last night I pumped in about 200 gallons between the 5 tanks, and that equals up to around 1,660 pounds below our mass. It's way down here in the bottom. So you can imagine it's like strapping a small car to the bottom of your rig to be able to help counteract some of this wind shear that's coming through. So that is a very, very easy thing to do, and it will definitely help when you have high winds. Now we only have these yellow chocks, these plastic yellow chocks. They're wide chocks. They're a little bit wider than the tire. They're pretty sturdy. I do my pull test on them to make sure that my hitch is hitched up correctly when we head out, so I know that they will hold the camper and keep the camper from moving. But they are lightweight, and in heavy winds, they will blow away from the tire and the wheel. Now I know you say, just get some heavy rubber ones and go for it, and that'll solve that problem. I personally don't want to pay $200 for 4 of the rubber blocks to sit in front of and behind our tires. I just don't. So what did we do? X-chocks. I highly recommend X-chocks. So we use the front wheel chocks and the X-chocks on both sides. And you can see I've got one in the back there, the regular chalk in the back there. But these X-chocks are awesome. They're not going to fall out in high winds. They're going to keep steady, and they're going to keep both of those tires from turning. What it does is it's literally like an X. You can see it goes in between the tires. You take a ratchet, you ratchet the top down, and it expands it, and it pushes against both front and back tires and keeps them from rotating. It's awesome. People highly recommend that during high winds you pull in all of your slides. That can't be any further from the truth. Think about it. Think about the center point of your rig, and think about if the wind is coming from the passenger side, you'll want to pull in all of your slides on the driver's side and keep this extra weight on this side to counteract the wind coming this way. You don't want to pull that slide in and narrow your center of gravity. It doesn't make any sense. Same thing if the wind's coming from the driver's side. You'll want to pull in the passenger side. That way you have all that extra weight hanging out on the driver's side. Now if you don't have slides, you can't really help it. But that's where the filling the tanks comes into play. I've also read and seen a bunch where people say, hook your truck up to your rig in high winds. No, that doesn't make any sense. Because if your rig is going to go over, it's going to go over. And I don't want it to wipe out my truck as well. I don't think that makes any sense. Having that extra little hookup point is not going to stop this 40-foot camper from blowing over. It's just not going to happen. So there's a few tips on when you encounter, hopefully you won't, but when you encounter your next storm that you can put into place. If at any time you enjoyed this video, we'd greatly appreciate it if you would support our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Again, I am Bobby, my wife April, and our kids Katie and Jace, and Nick the pup, I guess he's a kid. We are in search of a new place to call home. And in that search over the next 3 to 4 years, we plan to put a video out every week showing our trips, our journeys, our discoveries, and places to visit for families. So come on along with us as we travel the U.S. in search of a forever town and home.